Hey, we're back. I was just confirming that I didn't lose my save file there. When I started talking, I forgot to hit start recording. So I've equipped the sword from last episode, and I'm talking through the rest of my stuff here. Book of Wisdom, Amber Runestone, and a reed flute. Speech and animal kinship. Who has the best speech right now? Probably someone in my town, to be honest. She's pretty good, or he's pretty good. Will. We got 7 will down here. Yeah, I'm excited to see what Thea 2 is like, actually. For intelligence. Second highest after Bogum. Should be fine. And then the concentration, gathering, and craft, I can probably wait until I bring that back to the base here. So I need to go all the way back around this lake here, which is going to take a while.
Your scouts report something of interest nearby. And
this could be bad.
Your scouts spot a very unusual landmark in the distance. A statue made entirely out of silver. It is likely that some danger may lurk there, as
Bring
no
up
one
the
has
volume a
noted
bit.
it yet. But it is a lot of silver up for the taking.
Sure. Place to see. Okay. That's on the other side of the river. Confirm what all we're doing down here. I think we're just getting food and wood, it looks like. And making meat stew and cooked food. Okay. Just recently trained a new person down here. Just try to get back over there, and if the game pops up and gives me something new, I'll deal with it then, I guess.
You see fresh boar tracks. It looks like a large pack.
Okay.
You tried to sneak up on
Oh
the
god,
pack,
3
but
skull.
you realize you lost the tracks. Just as you were about to leave, you were attacked by the boars.
Well, I might be about to die. Wish I had a shield over here. Well, this could be worse. I think I want her in my main hand, though. Well, then I got Bogomysla in my main hand, which I don't want, but no real choice. 18 plus 5, 19 crush. Pretty high level confuse options here. Alright, this isn't that bad of a 3 skull. It was not as bad as I was expecting it to be anyway. Does it make more sense for me to shield or confuse? Probably confuse. It's pretty strong to do that. I don't have any counter tactical, unfortunately. Another confused boar. Probably have the rest of them just get closer. Well, I might have one of them confuse the last guy that's about to come out here. Well, I might need to shield ally to make sure Bogomysla doesn't die. 18 is going to take 19 damage. Well, no, he might end up killing this boar, so he might actually be okay. see. She'll go first and hit this one and kill it, but there'll be no spillover damage. So she'll go, and I think they still try to target from left to right. So she'll kill this one, then he'll kill this one. And this one will get to stay alive. If I shield him, though, he might get to survive. I don't think he's going to take damage either way. I'll just get closer and we'll see what happens here. Because I think it's going to go around the second time. Oh, that wasn't quite a kill. Okay, well, that changes the map a little bit. Yeah, it went fine. Could have been much worse. Mask. You can hide unwanted twins in it, or wear it to look cooler. Went okay. Usually stuff like that goes really badly for me. Do I have a two-skull enemy nearing the town? Might want to equip people for battle here a little bit better. For high strength. Oh yeah, she's got real high strength. 7 damage. Can we do better? 9. One-handed potentially with a shield. I think I still have a chance to equip them if they get attacked while I'm over here. Hello, travelers. I think we've had this event before.
An older man walks up to you to speak. We are not looking for trouble, nor do we seek anything from your village. We would have chosen a path more remote, but this one seemed easier for us to travel. Our home was taken by an orcish clan, and we now travel south to seek our fortunes elsewhere.
Some fighters. Do you want to win back your home?
Fight but failed, and truth be told, we stayed put for too long. But you know what? These brutes, they killed a bunch of our people and took much of our goods. So if you want to try and beat them, be our guests. We had a sizable lumber mill and a small quarry, so not only will you avenge our people, you'll be well rewarded, you know. Our pleasure.
Now, how many skulls would you say that was? I might be able to do a 3-skull social encounter, actually. Everything in here already equipped, at least everything that's social related. I suppose...
I seek to find my roots and return to a homeland long forgotten, but I cannot speak for all my people. Speak to them if they want. I will not stand in their way.
Send up to the orcs anyone who tries to beat us. 7 scavengers. Yeah, I get a hell of a tactical hand here. I feel like there's so many people in my town. Am I going to win just through overwhelming force, basically? Got a couple good talkers here. Overwhelming chattiness, basically. Alright, we could definitely pull some counter tactics here. Do you have any counter offense? No, and that's okay. Beautiful. Yeah, we should end up crushing this, I think. So I think I can still do damage towards countered cards. I can do a confuse. It's based on magic, that's interesting for a social encounter. I like a lot of the flavor of these card battles and like stat associations. They're smartly laid out. Increase the offense value of your rightmost card. And everybody else, I think, pretty much just gets closer at this point. Which is extreme overkill. Let's say, what does it mean to lose a social encounter? And I think the answer is to take overwhelming psychic damage. That's just my life whenever I'm in a social encounter. What's that sound effect? It's the weird talking sound effect. Scavenger got to say something at least. Now we're hitting the what's left in the dismissed tactics cards. Huzzah!
People shake their heads and murmur. Most turn away from you and start preparing for the road, but one mother comes up with her twins. I will not stay. I must go where my forefathers take me. But
Take my
children are too
kids.
small to survive the road and its perils. Please take them in.
Yeah, sure.
Seeing you take in the twins,
Oh,
a
shit.
couple more parents leave their kids for your care.
All right. The reward for that combat, that social battle, was 4 children. Great. Hold on one second. I wanted to see if I can adjust the... Yeah, I'm sure the voice volume is louder, because sometimes the music can overpower it. It should be fine. I might want that map grid. Oh, I guess it is on. Okay. Yeah, we'll turn on the bigger text on the event screen. I think I've been playing this game in 720p for like years at this point so that it was more visible on stream, but maybe they patched in that bigger text thing. To the backpack you go, children. Exactly.
You come across what looks like a dried up log, but as you get closer, you see it has eyes and looks up at you. It seems it is trying to speak to you.
That's gonna go well.
Ah, people. Good. I thought I will perish in isolation. I have a boon to ask of you. I would like my ashes spread upon a fertile forest ground, but I have no strength or allies left. Will you aid me?
Sure, what the heck?
I don't offer much in the way of rewards, only that my body will leave some precious materials for you to use. This way, I will go on.
I like this game mechanically. I think it has a lot of really cool ideas, and it's a neat little like roguelike. The writing is very silly though. Like I love especially some of the stuff that they have the guy voice act, but even better are some of the things that the player can choose as options. Sure, why not?
The tree.
It's not a hard
that is
task.
Alishi, a powerful forest demon and shepherd of trees, turns into ashes before your eyes. But just as he said, he leaves some rare wood behind. You take the ashes and you feel a strange pull towards a place not far from here. Perhaps it is where the ashes should be spread.
Okay, where is it? All right, that's pretty far from where the expedition is, but it's not far from where my base is, so cool. It's a really long walk. Hopefully I don't get into any events that kill me while I'm out here. Probably should be doing more gathering while I'm out and about. Kind of bad about that. Pretty much just use expeditions to look for events. Oh, we just auto-resolve that. That's fine. Yeah. No problem. I think the problem is if I stop to gather resources, that's using up time too, so I can't just like pick it up for free while I'm walking back. It's a day I'm not spending traveling back towards home.
Despite the daytime, the sky is suddenly overshadowed by a thick, dark mist that slowly engulfs everything in its way. The black mist remains a malicious reminder of the days of darkness and their everlasting hold on Thea.
Seems extremely
Even the bravest
bad.
of souls feels a sudden dread as the black cloud slowly seeps into every corner of their surroundings and wraps them up in a suffocating blanket of dark energy. You could swear you see twisted faces and silent screams from within the darkness. You feel a cold chill running down your spine, and dry sweat covers your trembling body. Your very soul is now infected with the cloud.
That seems really bad.
You try to huddle together, hoping that the closeness of your comrades will strengthen your resolve. And indeed, for a while it does. You crouch down on the ground, clench your jaws, close your eyes, and hold on tight to those sharing your fate. It seems like an eternity passes. Your spirit is nearly depleted, but eventually you feel the warmth of the sun on your face. Slowly you muster up the courage to open your eyes and rise again. You have survived. But alas, you and your fellow travelers feel a heavy burden in your hearts. Soon, you realize a curse of darkness consumes your souls.
That sucks. 3 of my characters have -5 will now. Bummer. Hey, we got some level ups here. That's all pretty good. Sure. People in town gaining levels. You love to see it. Talking about my normal meat stew production. Okay, just making sure. I don't think I have any more buildings that I can make. Yeah, I'm capped out at the moment. I thought there was a bridge here, like a land bridge. Maybe not. Someone is idle. Several people are idle. What's that all about? I was going to assign them to help with the meat stew, but I don't think any of them are good at that. Yeah, they're not. Okay. Oh, it's just a completely new villager. Okay, misunderstood. It's not one of the children that grew up. New villagers, I don't have any control over what their stats or job is, but I do for children. I think this group has an encumbrance problem now. Is that why their movement is so shitty? Probably because of those ashes that we got. Just try to deal with it for now. It's not that long of a walk back to base. Is it really just a dead end? Jeez. Well, that would be part of the problem. I wish I could disable the fog on the map. Makes it really hard for me to see. I don't think I have any choices around that. Okay. Getting out of the snow seems to be helping at least. I think when the kids level up, I don't want them to be soldiers this time, because I think I'm doing okay on soldiers. Should double check with my...
2 of your fellow villagers decided to get married, and since times are dire, it is more important than ever to cherish such occasions. Wedding celebrations last for 7 days, and it is customary to make sure everyone takes part.
3 meat, 17 vegetables. Okay.
As followers of Velez, you honor some elder traditions, perhaps reaching back couple swears their oaths under an ancient oak tree, citing, "Our souls, reborn in these mortal coils, have found their missing halves, and from two incomplete spirits they will now become one, stronger and immortal. The newlyweds are then blessed by Veles. Only then do the usual libations, with an excess of food, strong spirits, and plenty of naked dancing through the night, proceed and last for many nights."
Okay, so they get +3 magic for 20 turns, which probably will never come up. But I can have them roll to not get hangovers. Oh, this will just auto-resolve.
Wedding was deemed a great success, and the happy
All right.
couple begins their new journey.
Everyone gets +5 attractiveness for 20 turns. Sure.
After the wedding, the newlyweds are blessed with the arrival of the much-coveted offspring from the Cabbage Patch.
Okay, they got a Cabbage Patch baby. They didn't like instantly spawn. Speaking of which, how many fucking kids am I... 5 children? Not too helpful right now, but one day it will grow up. Wow. Alright, random resources. Meet every turn. Can choose Sage. Have a chance to become a scholar or an inventor. Children growing up to be warriors do 10 more skill points. Once I have 5, I might turn a couple of them into sages, but I might do a couple of warriors. Maybe leave them in the town even, potentially. Refugees.
You come across a hidden stash, and it looks like whatever is inside may still be intact.
Take the
You
stuff.
have your loot safe in hand, but you can hear something approaching fast, perhaps a guardian of the stash. You have time to run, but maybe the creature hides more goodies.
Let's run for it. I've learned this game very much punishes you for taking risks. Unliving spiders. Some people got damaged, but it's not the end of the world, I guess. They're always resting if they're in the village, I think. Probably need to equip everybody better.
Wounds don't always have a chance to
Well,
heal,
so
but
much for
death
that.
can claim its prize.
Sucks. Yeah, I should equip everybody a little bit better. Or if I get another town battle, I shouldn't depend on the computer to auto-resolve it. Overwhelming force. I should see which... Must have had a task get screwed up by that, huh? They're all doing their work just fine. I guess herbs are slower now. I think I can meaningfully speed them up, though. Well. Hey, we made it back to the town. Okay, awesome. Now I can resupply folks, set up a new expedition. I gotta equip everybody. This is gonna be slow and kind of miserable, but I think I just need to do it. Wish I could sort my villagers by stats. I know I can filter them, right? Maybe that'll effectively accomplish the same thing. Challenge fight. I'm gonna do that based on their hit points, maybe. Let's see, if we set up a new expedition, I want to assume that anyone that's got a spear icon is good for that. she's probably better than he is, though, right? She's got 12 health, 25 damage, 6 shielding, 6 tactics. Yeah, why don't you switch places? I guess I could bring both of them. That's not so bad. I guess I'll turn a couple of the kids into warriors to defend the town here. All right. In that case, equipment. Let's go person by person here. So let me start with my strongest character, Milona. Let's give her a shield of some kind. 4 armor, 5 shielding. 4 armor, 4 shielding, 1 dex. I like that the mask counts towards that. That's cool. Four armor, 5 shielding. This might be the best I can get. Good quality. Okay, cool. So she's pretty buff right now. Can I improve her chest armor? Possibly not. Her chest armor is like 22. I actually kind of have a lack of chest armor on the whole, unfortunately. Probably give her a bow. So that she has one. Okay. Let's keep going down the list here. So we got to compete with a 9 damage two-hander. It's exactly the same, right? Okay, yeah. 11 damage poison. No shielding, though. 12 damage, no shielding. Need to afford to equip some armor here. Looks like that's fine. I don't really have the other slots for her. Okay, Cyclava. 9 damage, 5 shielding, 17 armor, faint, folklore, and gathering. I want to deposit that, actually. $14 damage, 3 poison. Ooh, that ivory short sword is garbage. Can I at least do better? $8 damage is better. Three armor, 3 shielding, 1 dex. He's still fine, it looks like. Oh, I didn't realize warriors are allowed to carry a two-handed sword in one hand. Does that mean they can still wear shields? It does, okay. I think that only applies to swords, though. Changes everything, yeah. This one-hander is still better than most of the two-handers I've found. Okay, so it's only swords. Other two-handers don't count. Gotcha. I don't think I can really beat 14 damage on that. I might be able to beat 8. Yeah, that's better. I'll have some armor, right? Give her the 17 armor instead. It's not amazing, but it could be worse. Blunt damage. Well, it's the kind of damage that has spillover, which is nice. 3 poison on this guy, and I could wear a shield with it. Okay. More of them should probably have basic bows. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce this guy's name. Bogu my slaw. Bug off, that's my slot. That's what his name is. Let's see, shield. Four, 4, 1 is probably as good as I'm gonna get, it looks like. Yeah. Okay. Should have a bow as well. Alright, and then I have to decide what I want to do with this mask. Someone who's already somewhat tanky, probably. Or someone who needs the tankiness. $10 shielding, 18 shielding, 14 shielding. Now let's put on the person with the shittiest shield. Shielding's really strong. It's like health that they can take the damage, but it doesn't actually give them wounds, and wounds are what get you killed. So that seems pretty good to have. I got a lot of wood here. All right, so I've been taking a shitload of wood on my expeditions, and I think that's actually been a mistake because it's been counting against my weight limit. So I need to take fewer wood and just fewer supplies in general, and maybe travel not quite as far. Straight up veggies. We want lots of variety of foods, though. Watch my weight limit in the corner. I think just those two are probably fine. And preferably I'd like to have more food variety, but great expedition. Okay. Let's go. I think I needed to have been doing that maintenance for some time. Don't know if I actually need to bring an item for the Dying Leshy's Wish here. We'll find out in a second, I guess. You need to save really fast.
You come to a place where a single weeping willow.
I guess the ashes weren't actually an item, I don't think.
You feel this is the place to spread the ashes. You spread the remains of the leashy below the weeping willow, and you see, before your eyes, saplings of young trees begin to surface. It will not be a forest for a long time, but one day, the leashy would have given life to a new and wondrous woodland. The willow's long hanging hair begins to weep with crystal clear water that somehow feels good. The willow reaches out to you, offering the nectar. You feel the wisdom of the woodlands fall upon your
bless of
people,
health.
and a blessing from the weeping willow's tears.
Animal kinship. Oh, that's cool. Those are all permanent stat boosts, I think. Folklore, animal kinship, and herbalism. Great. Leave. All right, let's check out this place to see.
As you look around and admire the world, you see something of interest in the distance.
Take a closer
You spot
look.
a group of travelers trekking through the land. They look like nomads.
Okay. Was the travelers familiar? Three skeletons, 6 wounds. Come on. $11 armor, 1 dex on that guy. 4 armor, 3 shielding, 1 dex. Bandit Camp has me a little bit alarmed. Might be able to do it. Yeah, I think I have to go through the Bandit Camp to get there, so in that case, what do I want to do here? To try to camp to heal. Gather some straw, I guess. Since we don't have a lot of that. Wish I could see their gathering stats here on the left more easily. I think it already tries to order them top to bottom and how good they are at gathering. And these guys all suck at it real bad. I think I'm 5 turns to get a single unit of straw. Yeah, that's not worth it, I don't think.
The night is quiet and calm, but suddenly the ground shakes beneath your feet without any warning.
Ready for trouble.
You feel the grumbling of the earth, and you fear Mokosh's wrath is upon you. But this tremor feels somehow different, less natural.
Find cover. Or do I do it manually here? Oh, this isn't my town? That's kind of surprising. I think I'm averaging low on my offensive hand if I'm looking primarily at hit points here. But we'll try to use it and see what happens. Counter tactic goes up to like 6. Counter offense 10, damn. We know that they are at least level 6. Try to counter as many as we can here. Oh, that's nice. It doesn't let me, but it doesn't force me to burn the card either. Alright, well that should work. Oh, right, I'm out of cards. Never mind. It would force me to burn the card, I think. So I don't have any confuse. I do have some confuse, but not high enough levels, so I'm gonna have to do shielding to make them not take damage here. Shield ally. And the rest of them, everyone else can just go in there and kick ass, I guess. And they should be able to hit everything that I countered earlier, because I've got so many characters. I would auto-resolve this, but I had somebody die to auto-resolve earlier, so I not to risk it. Right, now they should take out the counter-offense card and the counter-tactics cards. Not bad.
There is a series of distant thuds and groans, then several short yet violent rhythmic shakes. Then, slowly, the sounds and the tremors move away.
Will +5 for 10 rounds. Some kind of creature. That's spooky. For camp. Everybody topped off from that? It looks like it. Okay. Hopefully the Bandit Camp goes okay. Alright, so tactic? Maybe? Probably not. Probably the straight fight is smarter. I don't know that if I basically get the ability to just try tactics for free, you know? Maybe. Like, I don't know what happens if I lose the tactic, if I then still have to do a fight that has actual consequences. We'll give it a try. I don't really get a lot of cards for this. This is probably a bad idea. Do get 2 confuses. Now let's find out what happens. What's the downside to attempting it, though? Yeah, that's not good. I'm very dead. There's no way around this. I may as well just quit now, but... Guess we're about to find out what happens. We fail a tactic. You tried. We didn't really try. Oh man. Defend yourselves. Now we have an actual fight. And we took a penalty and that one of our characters got really wounded. Okay, got it. Yeah, why don't you stay in the back? That's fine. That's accurate, Fluffy. Height. Do I want... I can't really counter tactic here with this backup group. Try to use them to confuse or shield ally. Yeah, I just won't even bother with tactics next time. I don't think it's super worth it. 19 plus 6. 2 cards this turn. I'm going to use them to confuse. I can do that no matter when I choose to play them, so I may as well just put dudes out for now. It's pretty good so far. I'm enjoying it. So I technically could have done a counter tactic since they have a couple level 2s, but everyone can just successfully confuse no matter what I do here, I think. They're both injured anyway, so I'd rather do that. Alright, they have a lot of guys though, so I don't know how this is going to go in the first round. Fortunately, Cyclava is going to do 23 damage to a guy that only has 8 health. Seems pretty smart on the side of the computer. And that is also a wasted DPS. And now 23... Yeah, we might be okay actually. Yeah, alright. Let's hope my wounded character doesn't die. Shadow armor. Armor 15, shielding 3. Armor 4, shielding 6 is pretty good on that shield. Armor 5, shielding 7, will 7. Huh. Already got some good stuff there. And a good quality axe. I don't think there's too much I can do if she's wounded other than just hope that when I rest she doesn't die. This is better than some of my armor. It's good fortune to the wearer. I'm gonna drop those back off at the base later. This is a much better shield than what I've been using. Like, a shockingly better shield. Four plus 5, though. Yeah, it's just strictly better. Okay. Please don't die.
The night is quiet and calm, but suddenly the ground shakes beneath your feet without any warning.
Hey, this just happened.
You feel the grumbling of the earth, and you fear.
I should be able to auto-resolve that, right? Okay.
Thuds and groans, then several short yet violent.
I guess maybe I'll auto-resolve if I know the challenge type.
Tremors move away.
Well, no one died that day, so that's good at least. She's no longer dying in general. Place to see.
And it depicts some elven archer. Perhaps there used to be an elven settlement here long ago, but now there is little else than rubble, a cave, and some dried up trees. You do, however, see a werewolf sitting at the feet of the statue, convulsing and throwing up.
Hey, are you okay?
The werewolf looks up and tries to make himself presentable by patting down his
hungover
fur.
werewolf?
Oh, this is embarrassing. I'm all right, just trying to fight my weakness, you know, what doesn't kill you and all that.
Hanging out near Silver, making you sick to get stronger?
Pretty much. Character building and all that. You wouldn't understand. It is so hard to live with such a disadvantage, you know.
Yeah, because your super strength, animal senses, tough hide, and beastly claws are also weak.
I never said I was weak, just that having this vulnerability is tough in the alpha male type of society that I run in. Anyway, I bore you. So what's your deal here?
So these events are really funny. I don't think I can do sneak very well with this party. Yeah, even a level 2. Stealth stats aren't great. And if we just have some silver?
Yeah, I kind of do, you know. I mean, I did just say I'm using it, right?
Maybe we can share. Okay. All right, yeah, let's talk it out with the werewolf. Don't have a great social group. Yeah. I guess I'll just forfeit. This is a 3-skull social challenge.
Nope, doesn't sound like a deal to me. Go away or find out if I'm doing well in my training.
Okay. Well, nice to meet you, Mr.
Another night
Werewolf.
falls over Thea, and restless souls of the damned.
We've seen this one before, so I'm just going to say leave the creature to its task.
Your people sleep well this night, and one wakes with greater resolve. You hear a strange commotion coming from the nearby bushes, a sort of cross between a squeak and a deep grumble of a salivating dog. As you approach, you see a weird-looking brown ball of disheveled fur, with big yellow eyes.
But I assume that's still scaled. It would show me one skull if it was supposed to be an easy challenge, right?
Wings, a snarly smile with a range of sharp teeth, and it smells badly. It is apparently stuck in
Like,
some
isn't that already factored into the skull difficulty rating? If it was trivial, it would have said one skull. Let's leave it be. I definitely didn't have the social stats to survive a 3 skull encounter of any kind. I had like 5 hit points per character and like 3 attack. All my social characters are in my camp.
Traveling through these lands. They are a mixed group made up of all peoples of Easterlands, including men, goblins, and orcs. A few of them break away from the group and walk towards you. They are armed, but their weapons are not drawn. However, you do spot some archers eyeing you up as well. The nomads raise their hands and speak. Greetings, fellow travelers. May we speak?
I see. What's your
We are
purpose?
merely passing by and mean you no harm. Our people have survived together on the journey for many years now, and we do not seek to abandon our path. We are, however, in need of resources, and in exchange, we have goods to offer.
Give you a weapon?
Yes. Our journey does not allow for a smithy, thus a weapon is always needed. We will offer you a rare trophy from our hunts, and some rare minerals that may help you to forge your own weapons. You will lose one random weapon from your inventory.
One random weapon. As long as it's not one that's equipped, that should be fine. Specifically, it'd be great if they took the short sword.
Wonderful. May the journey keep you safe, and may the road
That's
be ever clear.
the worst
traveler.
thing they could have taken, but it's also not the end of the world. Dragon bones, damn. Cool. I mean, I think I can do the event again, so I could try it if it lets me.
You find the silver statue, and it depicts some. The werewolf looks up and tries to make him.
Yeah, I kind of do.
Yeah, we'll just try it. I think he just says no if it doesn't work out. Counter offense is maybe doable. Alright, that was my only option there. Alpha Wolf. See what you're saying, though. That although they're high level, their stats are garbage. So it just must be the werewolf, I guess? It's the only thing that makes any sense. Melona's gonna lose an argument with a wolf around the first turn. Second phase. Alright, yeah, good call.
Why the hell?
I thought the skull rating was more dependable in terms of representing the relative difficulty of something.
When you try to scout this place later, you find a lot of blood, and both the wolf and the statue are gone.
We got our silver. Really over encumbered now, and head back to town and drop all this shit off.
As you look around and admire the world, you see something of interest in the distance. You spot some smoke, as if coming from a chimney, somewhere up ahead. Perhaps there is a small settlement nearby.
This is gonna be fine. Okay. Like stuff that just gets added to the map, that's always nice. It's only giving you the skull rating for the most powerful unit in the group as opposed to the average of the whole group. Okay. I got a research point. Don't think I want to do construction anymore. Hunter. Try doing the palisade. I'd have to destroy some buildings to do any of these, though. That's the problem. Time to take one of these other things, I guess. Artifacts. Armor. Let's do armor. Yeah, I've learned that unless if I feel really confident, I shouldn't mess around with anything that's 3 skull or higher. So I've wiped a couple times because of it. Okay. I wanted to make some armor. I have infinite supplies for these, I just make them over and over. Leather, spider silk. Catalyst. Smith's apron. Ah. Sounds like that's basically just equipment, though, which I'm less excited about. 7 armor. See a magic stat, that's kind of cool. Diamond armor is still not super amazing. Dragon bone's better. Although no matter what it is, it's still just like a smith's apron. Silky vest. Let me review what all my choices are for the primary material, I guess. Scaled leather, fur leather. Heavy fur brigandine, okay. Let me see. I think I want to waste my diamonds on that. Silky vest. It's the best choice for current fashion trends. So far it's 7 armor no matter what I do as a secondary. 8 armor if I use some leather. How about the amber? Okay. Just want to see how high I can get this with the fewest materials used. I'd like to have more just normal chest armor for the people in the town. I have decent armor for everyone in my party. I think 17 is what I'm usually working with. So these numbers aren't super amazing. I might just hold off in that case since I can't find anything that I would use to replace my expedition stuff with. So back to meals. Herbs and then wood at the end? Is that meat stew? Yeah, okay. I can only make one of those per day because I only have one daily source of meat, unfortunately. This lava can still solo that, though. Okay, well, this all seems fine. Let me do my regular expedition here. Send them out with more stuff. I'm still waiting on my 5 kids to grow up here. How much wood do you use per day? Is it per movement point, actually? Historically, I brought way too much of this. So I'm trying to tone it down a little bit. Okay, so it's summarizing. Gotcha. Probably not going to spend that much time away from town, but I don't like risking bringing less than what I need. One per day, regardless of tiles moved. Okay. Should pass these around to some of my gatherers. I'll do that before I really start focusing on progression. Oh, what happened to Bogomaislaw's weapon? Did it trade his equipped weapon away? Oh my god. That's not what it said. It said in your inventory. Oh, whatever. It's fine. It totally did, though, when I traded that thing earlier. Wow, man, that could have been worse. It could have traded the magic one-hander that I got. That would have been bad, bad. Oh, right, and it was the sword that I lost, so he can't benefit from two-handing. Ah, that blows. Only if you're camping? Okay, so I could probably bring significantly less wood with me in that case. Okay, I just got a new thing to check out. I guess I'll go kill these randos real fast.
Shaken with tremors. Groans and thudding footsteps are heard throughout. Many
Keep hearing that.
and thrown about, but the tremors eventually stop.
Damn these tremors! Can I not? Oh, there we go. Should be fine. And it was fine. Ivory bracelet, backstab 3. I wasn't equipped gathering stuff on more of these randos here. Hold on one second. Gathering up. Gathering up. This one armor on that's pretty nice. The rest of it's just folklore, okay. Scoop out the refugees, maybe?
You discover the ruins of some great old city. Whoever resided in these walls is long gone, yet many buildings...
This kicked my ass last time, and we're not gonna... Looks too dangerous. Bye. I'm good. I could probably do an unliving nest. I do fight rather than tactics. Yeah, no tactic. Unliving spiders, bees, and rats. Not the best pull for my offense hand. I guess it could be worse. Well, I got Melona in my offense hand. So I don't really have any counters here. I do have Confuse, though. Oh, tanky. I guess the bees are... They have enter the battlefield damage. Alright, well, Confuse is pointless now, so... Well, no, it's not actually, because I can still confuse both of them. So their two tactics cards are both going to be confused anyway. Plus 13 shield. Please send him in, get closer, but... So you could take a hit from the spider. Alright, not a great fight phase 1, but also still shielded. Still shielded. You've won. Ooh, this is cool. Monster Menace. Bones of the drowned demons make for very good axes. Hey, it's a tough world. 12 damage one-hander. Okay. Better than what he previously had. Bogu Myslaw. Bogumisla? I don't know. Someone is idle. Who and why? Everything's happening in one turn, so I don't need to worry too much about that. I guess I could try to make a gather expedition. I've never really tried that before. Fish, maybe? I can't really move my settlement, right? I assume I eventually am able to establish new settlements.
The whole land is shaken with tremors. The tremors and wild
That keeps happening.
stop, but they leave you with a sense of dread.
Alright, some giant worm is gonna burst from the ground or something. Small rat lair, no problem. Refugees.
You find the settlement taken by an orcish clan. You see many warriors, at least one matriarch and a shaman. They are well armed and look ready to fight.
Hi there, can we talk?
The matriarch steps forward, her brow raised and her protruding fangs exposed.
What do you want? We're not a charity if you're looking for help, and we're not looking to trade, so best be off now.
About to die on this 4-skull challenge.
Owned this land, you say? Since when? Since they came here a decade ago and said so. There was a goblin settlement here, you know, but they were just filthy greenskins, heathens to them, so they claimed this land.
Yeah, I'm not doing a 4-skull social challenge with this party.
So now we claim this land. Leave before you anger me more. Oh, good. Let's fight.
Maybe. I do have a bunch of shielding. I'll give it a try. This is probably going to be the end of the run. I have a lot of shielding. Not a lot of counters, but a decent amount of confuse. Yeah, let's give it a try. Not feeling super confident about it. 69 health, nice. Effectively. Ow, enter the battlefield damage. $47. Unfortunately, I really wish he was in my tactical hand. Move anyone in the queue. Try to eventually confuse the fighter at the start, although she already got some good damage in. Yikes. Go confuse 6. I can shield him, because he's going to take more damage here. This confuse 8 gets wasted. 17. Use both of them. It's a hard call. The objective is to take as many guys out from the first round of combat as possible. They have a lot of health between them, even with all my shielding, so we'll see what happens here. Orc Witch has 1 hit point. Ah, that's so bad. Well, I killed 1, which ain't great. Alright, the fighter only died because of my previous confused choices. Please don't kill Malona. What a big waste of DPS there. Big waste. Not good. Okay, well no one's died yet. Don't think I want Malona in my front hand now that she's gotten hit so hard. I guess it could be worse. Okay, I prefer this. Shield ally 20 would be really nice. Oh good, she went first, so she wasted her entered the battlefield damage. I could confuse her. I'm not risking a card to more enter the battlefield damage. I didn't notice what card was still alive back there. 57 health, effectively. Let's see, Clava. Okay, there was more spear damage coming in. Yikes. Right, now... we want to shield her. Doesn't completely block all of their damage, but this gets us a good chunk of the way there, and then the rest of them can just fight. $77 effective health. Lack of hammers is very noticeable. Okay, I got pretty badly wounded, but Malona might die, which would suck. She's my strongest character.
Lumber mill are mostly depleted, but there is plenty to take back with you.
Alright, we got Smith's Apron, Armor 7, Monster Shell. Oh, is that a shield? It's pretty sweet if it is. Another one of these sun shields, bramblewood staff. Technically piercing. Elven wood, which is scaled leather, some granite, and some sandstone. I feel like Melona's gonna die as soon as the turn passes here. Oh, she didn't. I always brace myself. Which bonuses strength. Bonuses to everything. Oh, is she no longer wounded? She might be okay. Damn, I was almost certain she was gonna die. Okay, well that's extremely lucky. So we've got another one of these shielding and will shields. Shields are looking really good right now, actually. I'm very pleased with that. 4 or 5. Let me refilter this for fight. See, Lava kicked ass last time. Really got to get Svetoslavka a two-handed sword. It's comparable damage to his axe right now. He definitely feels far behind everybody with shields right now. Shields seem really strong. And I didn't know for 11 hours that these guys could wield a two-handed sword and a shield. That changes everything. 4 armor, 5 shielding, 4 armor, 5 shielding. All these new kick-ass shields. Okay, this all looks fine for now. Don't know that the backstab particularly matters. Smith's apron isn't super cool. I guess if he's in a two-hand, I should probably be having him two-hand something that sucks less, like a hammer or something that's doing something, you know? It's not just regular damage. Let's not do it smart. We've established that my party is not good at doing things smart. Is this the Sword of Darkness? Yeah, let's use that instead. Next time I get a research point, I might try to make better weapons. My weapons aren't amazing at the moment.
An old dwarf passes by your village, stopping only for a drink and a chat if you're willing.
Sure, have a drink with him.
You share a drink and some stories. As thanks, the dwarf tells you of an old mine he knows. He marks the location on your map. Afterwards, he decides to stay with you and live out his last days helping you.
Well, shit, that's cool. We got a dwarf. What's his deal? Sturdy and stubborn, excellent warriors, and magnificent smiths. Yeah, his stats are holy shit. Can I compare to my party here? Great.
Marks a route for a mithril mine.
Yeah, okay, that's pretty close to where I am. Jesus Christ. Yeah, my characters have like 16 strength. My buffest character has 13 strength. Good God. Yeah, first edition D&D had elf and dwarf or classes, right?
Despite the daytime, the sky is suddenly overshadowed by a thick, dark mist that slowly engulfs everything in its way. The black mist remains a malicious reminder.
Huddle together, everyone gets cursed
hoping
again.
that the closeness of your comrades will strengthen your resolve. And indeed, for a while, it does. You crouch
Brave
down on the
wound.
ground, clench your jaws, close your eyes, and hold on tight to
That
those.
was bad. I guess maybe we should try running next time, since that's so terrible. Do I have... Can I deal with curses right now? Like, I don't know if I've even encountered... I know that the herbalists will remove diseases and stuff.
As you look around and admire the world, you see something of it. You spot the outlines of some old graveyard ahead.
So much stuff near my starting village. Oh, his name is Dwarf Smith. Like, his first name is Dwarf and his last name is Smith. Sturdy and stubborn as a rock to be made of, excellent warriors and magnificent smiths, yeah. Is there a different description than that one? Does he start with any equipment? Doesn't. Okay. She's less likely to die from her wounds the more people that are in her group, whether that's town or expedition, that have healing abilities, right? Appreciate it. Five damage. Thought I had another decent two-handed sword to swap out here. Since Malona might die anyway. Sylvan shielding. Okay. Pass a turn and see if Malona dies, then I'll go try to remove these curses. She didn't die, so that's nice. Smith is, like, ridiculously lucky. Let's start doing it this way. Too much shit. Way more than enough.
You enter the ruins.
Hey, man.
Turn to you, but one speaks.
Grandchildren have come. Our help they seek, but you seek our aid and guidance you shall receive. For each dark curse has its own flavor, and so the relief lies in different realms. You will face a challenge, our child, and if you pass, you shall be cleansed. If your body has been wounded by a dark force, you will not heal. Cursed you are, and you must speak to the spirits of healing to lift.
I don't think I have much in terms of hunting.
If your flesh is weakened, you must stand by our table and prove you have the tactical wits to outsmart the curse.
I'll need to have bows, right?
Deformed by evil forces, You will sneak up to a water nymph and steal a strand of her hair. We can then lift the curse for you. And if you have been cursed by the darkness itself, you will hunt down Abyss, and once you have him, we will transfer the darkness away from you and into the beast. Don't worry, we will shield you from his attacks if you fail.
Let's try this. Oh, my armor's okay. It's just... interesting. None of them do direct damage. They have to succeed through poison and other sources here, maybe? No, I guess it's not how poison works, is it? Huh. Does this mean it's impossible for me to win? It looks like it. They all have ranged weapons, though, so I'm confused as to why they get no damage for these cards. Did I do something wrong here? Guess we can use support ally to be able to do damage. Oh, maybe that's the... is that the flavor of it? That, like, your ranged attackers are in the backup party and you're, like, having to wear them down? Gathering is the damage skill for hunting challenges? Wow, that's crazy. Not have expected that. I guess I don't know what happens when I fail to hunt. I assume I just don't catch the thing that I'm hunting. Down to one. All right, my 7 got wasted there. Pretty swell. Okay, a bunch of support allies in the backhand. That's what we want here. Right, he's high enough level. Get him.
You have proven yourselves to be worthy offspring. We take the curses away from your souls. Return if you need aid once more.
I still have another curse, right? In this group. Malona has a curse of wounds, I guess. Will not heal until the dark magic is removed.
The Zirdi do not turn to you, but one speaks.
You seek our aid, and if your body has been wounded by a dark
Speak to the spirits. I don't have a great social setup in this group, but I can give it a try.
You have proven yourselves to be worthy offspring. We take the curses away from your souls. Return if you need aid once more.
Okay, that wasn't so bad. I was pretty worried. Maybe go check out that graveyard here in a second. Kids in this town are taking forever to grow up, it feels like. Am I ever going to be able to increase the number of buildings I'm allowed to have in my settlement? Or is it always a cap of 10? Do 100 of each again. It seemed fine last time. It's always 10. Okay. Scope out that suspicious house too. Please don't be a 4-skull challenge of some kind.
Discover the remains of an old graveyard. In the center, you see the burned-down ruins of what could have been a place of worship, likely belonging to immigrants from the Westerlands, as it is not the custom of your people to build such places. You search the graveyard, and among much rubble and forgotten gravestones, you discover a perfectly preserved crypt with some elvish writing upon it.
This is going to end well.
With ironclad hinges and silver chains. You open the crypt and walk down several steps until you reach the dusty center. The silver
Probably
coffin
isn't
lies
worth
wide open, empty, but
19 iron and 23 silver,
from the
but
shadows steps out a deformed creature, tall yet twisted in knots, skin dried out and flaking, its veins exposed, empty yet strangely palpable, its eyes red-shot with hunger, and its mouth filled with rows of razor-sharp teeth and long protruding fangs.
we did a 4-skull before. I think they're like doable but difficult. Strigas. Yikes. Dwarf Smith. Got. What skill confers counter tactic and counter offense? She should, even though she's strong, she should probably stay in the back because she's still wounded. And she has good shield ally. Alright, let's see how this goes. Each. Our offense is traps, counter tactics is perception. I guess those both make sense. Thank you. These are both confusable. Confusing the wolf is probably not worth it. Support ally is not really doing me a lot of good. $41. 50. Icky. This is gonna suck real bad. Alright, let's see how this goes, but this isn't gonna be great. This is a very different 4-skull encounter than the previous 4-skull encounter. Get him, dwarf. Alright, well, we killed the non-threatening enemies. Zidzarat is probably dead. You tried. What a waste of Dwarfsmith's talents. Okay. I'm gonna get Dwarfsmith and... Okay, this is acceptable. I think I definitely want her to be confused. Do this again. I think the answer is yes. Still 49. Only I may do that. How dare he? Rude. Changes the calculus quite a bit, unfortunately. 38, 50. It's not bad.
Defeated the Striga. In the coffin, you discover a full set of armor, shield, and weapon that must have belonged to the damned, but alas, much of it is rotten away. Still, the silver chains alone are worth much.
Oh, they're both about to die, almost certainly. Amber runestone, lively on a shell. 20 armor, 5 shielding, that's pretty good. Hatchet. Bone spike armor. Wolfbane. Huh. I assume that doesn't actually have like a secret effect versus wolf enemies. That'd be kind of cool if it did. Or I assume that if it did, it would be stated on the item, so it wouldn't be secret. Alright, everybody's about to die. It's gonna suck real bad.
You enter into a wooded area. Birds are singing, the wind is gently rocking the trees. In fact, it's pretty nice. As you venture deeper, you realize that this forest is very healthy, and you even find a nursery of young saplings. This type of find could mean a lot for the village. However, you do wonder how this particular patch of the forest could be so very healthy.
Weird as normal in Thea. Let's get chopping.
You stay still and listen to the forest, observe its movements, and look at the whole picture. Before long, you get the feeling you are watched, and soon after, one of the trees, an old oak, moves and speaks to you.
I am Lishi, the guardian of these woods, and do not like intruders. But you have shown respect thus far, so let's discuss how you may leave here with your lives. You are, in fact, in luck. We have a rogue bouquet hiding in a place we cannot follow, And you have these useful legs of yours that can carry you to places fast, and no qualms about going into places you shouldn't, obviously. So what say you to hunting the Bugay? In exchange, we will also reward
Just
you
a tree,
with a
right?
gift. Or we could kill you all. Don't care either way.
Well, the tree seems pissed off. Feeling easy about that. Agree to help.
Wise choice, and it is unexpected.
Did that bless of health?
For us both. This Bugay I speak of is a lost spirit.
Wonder if that counts towards determining whether or not they're gonna die.
He has forgotten his duty as the guardian spirit. He has defiled his own spirit companions, made them rabid and vile. We cannot have such things. I shall tell you where he is. Make haste.
The Lishi points you to where he thinks the escaped Bugay may be hiding. He also hands you a reward, and you feel it came with some sort of spirit magic.
Leave to pursue the task. Or not. Who's gonna know, right? Sure, the Lishi will know. No whammies, no whammies, no whammies. We're still in range of having whammies, though. Zidzarad, buddy, you got 18 wound. It's not a great day for you. Probably should have just tried to set camp, but I'm trying to get him back to town. Ooh.
You chase down the rogue Bugay and find him in the company of some winged
I didn't
women.
mean to
Most
chase
likely
down the rogue
winged
Bugay.
cornets, Villi, and several pine cornets of various shapes and sizes, including pine cones, mushrooms, chestnuts, or walking twigs with human-like faces. This strange menagerie is carrying with it some potted plants and young tree saplings. They also have a large wicker basket with a dark red tinge to it and a metallic smell. The Bugay, in the form of an older bearded man with twigs for hair and tree bark for skin, speaks up.
What do you want from us, fleshy creature?
Well, to be frank, your former boss asked us to kill you.
Ah, the old stump, sending fleshy minions after us. Ah, as if you could slay us.
You want to talk instead?
We are demons of the forest, and now even stronger, unbound, free. You think you can stand in our way?
Unbound and
We
free?
have found a way to live free of any forest, to gain power from another life force.
You feel a chill run down your spine.
It's not souls, it's life forces. It's scientific.
Now you think about it, the wicker basket is kind of big enough for several humanoids.
Is this why the Lishi dislikes you?
Yes, you are correct in your fears. We now feed on the flesh and blood of such as yourselves, and this is why the Lishi calls us abominations. But before you get your pitchforks out, we do not need to do this often. A couple of humanoids per year keep us steady. A few more give us extra power.
And what's to stop you from killing hundreds?
Well, sure, we could go on a rampage and gain even more power, but we're just not stupid. Thea is weak and stumbling. We cannot deplete our food source. Look, we're not bloodthirsty fiends. We only take as much as we need, and we try to only go for those we find already weak and dying, or those who attack us first.
I love the written dialogue in this game sometimes. Oh, we got a pickle here. You admitted you eat us, so it's kind of hard for us to let that one go.
Ah, yes. Perhaps I was too forthcoming. I am not used to talking to you people. Well, we can fight, or you can just leave.
I guess my party is decently recovered from that last fight, except for Zidzarad. He's not having a great day, to be honest. And 3 skulls is fewer skulls than 4 skulls. And I did promise I would fight them. Gonna fucking die. I could feel it. Zidzarad, buddy, pal, friendo. How you doing, friend? The answer is not great. He's not doing great. Cannot change equipment during an event. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay. Ravenous crows, you say. Okay, good. He's in the back. And he can confuse and shield ally, which is nice. Urza's Prawa is also pretty damaged. If I get lucky and I'd mulligan him into my tactical hand, yeah. That's not guaranteed that I can control for that. 49 or 49, but more of the health is coming from shields here. I've got about another hour today. Start shielding. It's unfortunate that he's in the back. Not very helpful in the back. Don't think I'm going to have to deal with a confuse of higher than 10. How dare you? First of all, how dare you? Second of all, what gives you the right? It's people's computers, man, I'll tell you what. Okay, the crows are not a problem. Because the crows are going to completely waste my damage, though. Which does suck a little bit. Should have confused this guy sooner. So now I have to waste a confused on the crow. Dare you? Start doing it now so I don't have to waste another one. Billy. Alright. Big waste. And a shielded Cyclava. Should be helpful.
You have defeated the Bugay and his minions. You find their bodies disintegrate into various wood types. Among the rubble, you find one lone pine cornet looking up at you.
I don't know if you noticed, but I hid all the way through, and I didn't fight you. I've been stuck with these madmen for years. Please take me with you.
Okay. Fur jacket. Doctor's Medicus. 12 dryad wood. 13 dark wood, and 10 enchanted bones. Okay.
Pine cornet steps up in front of you and takes on the form of a toddler-sized humanoid with a pinecone hat, a coat made of oak leaves, and a body that looks wooden.
Yay, thank you.
It's technically a ghost. Okay. Some can carry equipment, have a range of useful skills to help in challenges. Yay, thank you. Take the little guy and leave. Okay, didn't die that turn. Hopefully I have enough healers in the town to help. He is still not looking great, that guy. I wish it showed me under the hood for that. Like, if I had a better sense of what it's rolling to see if he dies and what it's being compared against for, like, the healers in the group or in the town or whatever. Okay, so Pine Cadet in particular doesn't get equipment. Gotcha. Let's pass some time here. Well,
have a chance to heal.
You tried.
To reclaim its prize.
Dismantle him. So does that mean that I just get his stuff, or do I have to have manually unequipped him to get his stuff? I think his stuff becomes available. Maybe? Yeah, I think he had this bone crossbows. Let's wait on everybody else to heal a bit here. Well, it says, souls of the dead, oddly enough, some can carry equipment. But that one doesn't count. Okay, I try to wait for one of these kids to grow up. Maybe have them contribute a bit to gathering or something. I haven't looked at jewelry options in a minute. Just curious. Diamond ring. Clear mind, concentration, and will. This is going to be kind of annoying, but I kind of want to just sit here for a second and look at different recipes. So apologies in advance. Silver brooch. Find weakness. So it's leech for social and tactical challenges. And it's poison for intellect and hex challenges. Okay. Mithril. Mountain Heart Amulets. Physical and sickness challenges. Okay, so it's leech, physical and sickness, and leech for sneak and hunt. Okay. Throw a diamond on there, does it just makes it better. Gotcha. So, with the way these are calculated, is this primarily... It seems like it's primarily concerned with the primary material. That seems obvious, but like my question is, I'm always going to get a Mountain Heart Amulet if I start with 4 Mithril, right? And it doesn't matter what the secondary material or the catalyst are, those will just affect some of the bonus stats that it gets. I think that's right. Blood drop. Does the secondary effect ever change? So the catalyst is just a thing I need to consume. It never affects it at all. So I may as well use my cheapest, shittiest thing to make it. Lowers the chances of dying from wounds for the group that they're in. That could be good. I think it's always the primary material that determines what the crafting thing is, right? I see. I make from triad wood. Tear of the nymph. Attractiveness. So there's basically tons of life leech if you have a dragon signet. I guess this would just confer 4 free leech to whoever has the ring equipped, huh? See something like this being pretty decent. Everyone gets a little bit of medic. Like many crafting systems in video games, the crafting system in this game is painful because, like, I don't want to use these in case there's going to be something way better that's going to come up later. Herbalism, light steps. Oh, that's kind of cool. Skull ring. I haven't checked Elvenwood. Living brooch. Not as exciting. It's just like a regular wooden ring. Sturdiness 1? Okay. Yeah, I feel like I should just make those for everybody because they're cheap, but cheap means not great. So my temptation is to make like 3 of these dragon signets. Sturdiness 5, fine weakness 5, leech 2, medic 1. I think I have the resources to do that. And I'm sure they'll be somewhat helpful. Doing more than fine on cooked greens, right? Wish I could sort these villagers. I think they're already sorted by how high their crafting stat is, but back to cooked greens here soon. Trying to wait for the kids to grow up here. Science. Might want to take something to gather, although I've been really bad about doing that at all. Medium armor, maybe. Or we could try to get to two-handed swords. Yeah, I think I need to be able to outfit my warriors better, so I'm going to try to build up to two-handed swords. Still making one more. Oh, my bad. Here's the last ring. Cool. Crafting. Get back to what you're doing, guys. I don't think I want to make any one-handed swords, but I'm curious to see what all I could use. Oh, that makes Mithrilldus. No kidding. Okay. I definitely want to use wood, though. Obsidian would add stealth and reduce damage. Gotcha. I feel like a silver sword's gonna be terrible, right? Monster Hunter? Maybe there is actually a tracked effect. Amethyst sword. Shielding. Sorry, folks. Looks like we're back. Been having this problem since we updated OBS to a recent version that was required for the new Twitch API. I don't know why. I've updated a few times because every time there's an update, it says it fixes a crash from the previous version, but there aren't any listed at the moment. Night, Fluffy. Nice to meet you. Thanks for your help today. Rusty Stabber. I feel like this is going to be a good sign once I'm actually able to make two-handers. I'm not actually going to use a one-hander, so I should just avoid it for the moment. Still don't have... Children haven't grown up yet. I was going to try to wait that out. Try to just explore in the immediate area, I guess. They just have a chance to grow up every time step or something. Alright, and we want to equip people with these rings. Shit, let me try to do that before I leave. I think I can still do that, right? Oh no, I'd have to merge them back in to equip the rings, my bad. Thrown off by the outage there. Lona should get one. Probably the Dwarf Smith. It's my next strongest character. Strongest and tankiest I want to check for. Probably her, actually. Believe it or not. Wish I could do like a preset for how much stuff I want to bring with me. It's probably not going to change too much throughout the game. Tell the game to always bring this with me whenever I make a new expedition, you know? Check out the suspicious house.
The map leads you to the ruins of some old town. There are very few houses still visible, let alone standing, but there is one. It is clearly touched by the darkness. Its wooden beams are decayed, its stone foundations blackened, its windows hollow and dark inside. Yet despite this common enough decay, the doors to the house remain intact and shut. The doors seem stuck at first, but with just a slight push, they give way. However, you feel a pinch on your hand. The stale air hits you in the face as you enter. There is a small hallway, unusual for the simple abodes you are used to, and at the end of the hallway, you see the entrance to another room and stairs leading down to the basement.
Do I need to heal that with an event only?
You enter the room and find yourself in a perfectly preserved dining room. The decor is lavish, unlike anything you've ever seen. There are chandeliers, or so you think they're called. There is silverware, silver used for cutlery. There are crystal glasses, and even a faint sound of music coming from Perrin knows where.
This is far too weird.
Suddenly, you hear a cry of a woman.
No, don't touch anything. You'll spoil it. You'll spoil it all. It has to be perfect. Has to.
A creature appears to you, at first with the features of a noble lady dressed in a beautiful gown, but then as she faces you, you realize her face is rotting away. In an instant, the illusion breaks, and you see the old house again, empty, decaying and cold, and before you, a ghost about to attack.
Wait. Don't want piconets in my main party if I can avoid it. Okay, good. Might just generally be a liability. Probably shouldn't bring her. "37 attack, Jesus Christ." She got moved all the way to the back, which is not great. These options aren't very good here. One ghost down. Oh, really? That's funny.
You defeated the ghost. It is likely that the tormented spirit will return.
Wait, it's the same ship?
Banished. You search the old house and discover many books that will surely prove priceless for your village. You also find a small family vault with some of their precious possessions still intact.
Wrath of the Dead, Moonstone, vines and more rubies. Intelligence up, folklore up. It's funny. Herbalists get rid of poison? I would try to do that.
You find the solitary hut of the herbalist. It is a
Yeah.
Yes, indeed I
Poison.
do, but I haven't survived as long as I have by running a charity. If you wish to be healed, I will cleanse your blood from the venom that infects it.
Tactical.
I need a favor. You see,
It's probably going to end badly. I've done this before, which is why I'm jumping through it real quick.
Well done. You did your part, so I will do mine. Here, take this. Drink it whole and try not to gag. Now, type.
Remember that I can get wounds cleared from the herbalist. I don't think I appreciated that before. Should be fine. Oh my god. Why are you guys so... We lost the challenge? Can I load my save? What the hell? The tier 2 challenge. I have like 20 people in my village. Good lord. I should just never trust that. Oh shit, that's missing then. Well, hold on. Jesus Christ. Hold on, let's try to load autosave again. I have to fight that witch again.
The map leads you to the door seems stuck at first, but with just a slight...
I felt the...
Suddenly, you defeated the ghost. It is likely that the tormented
I
spirit
got
will
less
return,
stuff
but
this
for now,
time.
It has been banished. You search the old house and discover many books that will surely prove...
Brave
priceless
Longsword
to the
might be
village.
pretty
You
good.
also find a small family vault with some of their precious possessions still intact.
Most of that sucks though. Well, let me go in here and make sure everyone has weapons. Like, somewhat decent weapons, if possible. It's a weight problem, okay. Make sure people at least have equipment before I do anything crazy. Make sure they all have some source of armor too, probably. Even if it's like super shitty. It's the ones who have the weight to deal with it, you know? Okay, and some shields maybe if they can fit it. No, I think most of them are close to full weight now.
As you look around and admire the world, you see something of interest in the distance. You spot a group of travelers.
Nomads.
You find the solid...
Yes, indeed I...
Poison, tactical, auto-resolve. Fine, thank you. Goodbye. Nice to meet you.
You are set upon by a small group of rugged-looking dwarves. Their faces are scarred, as if they cut off their beards.
These
with
guys
axes,
fucking
which
kicked
they
my
probably
ass
did.
earlier,
Their
but
clothes are
I've got
worn,
better
their eyes hungry.
gear now,
Only
so...
their weapons remain in perfect condition, the last remnant of their bygone heritage. One steps up and spits before speaking.
Money, or we'll kick your teeth in now.
Should go better this time because I have significantly better gear. But it's probably still going to be a little ugly. Should be fine. First of all, how dare you? Alright, he gets another tactical card. That's fine. That's actually, I think that's a misplay on the part of the computer. Be willing to do this sooner, I think. I'm doing it way too late. Big hit. Hopefully we can kill him before he can do 40 frickin' damage. Very nice. Went much better than the last time I fought dwarf bandits.
Defeated the dwarven bandits. You realize a few of them have somehow broken their weapons in a last act of dying, but perhaps some can be salvaged.
Lines like "in a last act of dying" are already funny, but funnier when there's a guy voice acting. Okay. Nature's Skin. 8 armor. Lightweight, it looks like. Leashy's Wrath. 8 damage, 6 shielding, 3 attractiveness. Huh. And a bunch of Mithril. Okay. I actually want to equip some of these. Let's see. Bogu was the dude that I had to change out his gear. Yeah. The extra shielding, please. I think everyone I want to have a two-handed sword on them if possible. Because the extra shielding is like really good for survivability, it feels like. Oh, this guy has a two-handed, but doesn't have a shield at the moment. Shit, I should fix that soon. I thought I gave him one. I must have screwed that up somehow. Eight armor, which is probably worse than everybody else's armor. Well, it's better than this. Okay. It's not auto-resolve this time. Good lord. I don't know if it's just like something to do with the Spider Queen or something. It's probably a waste. Poison's not that bad. Hey, I was drunk. Alright, tactic is at least level 2, I guess. And it was level 2, okay. Ow. This would be one that I would trivially pick auto-resolve on, but I don't want to, like, kill everyone again. It was really bad. I was lucky I was even able to reload it. Won the challenge. Got some more level ups here. +1 distraction. Ugh. I want plus health and plus strength. That's pretty much all I care about. These children still are refusing to grow up. Alright, let's try auto-resolve now. Alright, that went better. Since it's with my actual combat group instead of the village, I just won't do it with the village if I can help it. We'll come back with some more stuff here. Sturdiness by itself is that amazing, really. See medic on more people being pretty good, though. See what the living bone does, or enchanted bone. 6 sets. Okay, that's intellect life leech, got it. The rest of these aren't that exciting, I don't think. So if I had a ton of iron, +2 armor could be good to put on everybody, but I'm just not gonna worry about it for now. So I'm gonna try making Mithril Tools. What counts as a secondary material here? Clay? Craft +5. That might actually be worth it. And the clay has a pretty big role to play, damn. My other choices here. Yeah, I don't get super great when it comes to gathering tools. Silver tools a thing? Alright, so I either go for 5 or I do silver, I think, unless if it's the clay that's getting it up to 5. Got a bunch of silver. What are my current crafting equipments? Up. 2 craft. He doesn't even have a hammer equipped? No kidding. I guess I'm not using them for anything interesting from a crafting perspective, and I probably won't until I get more research to make 2-handed swords. Increasing their crafting level just causes them to take less time to make stuff, right? It doesn't affect the amount of resources they use when making stuff. I think that's right. Let's leave her behind. I don't think she has anything to do, but... Too much wood. Whatever, that's fine. We have new people we spotted in the distance to check out. We spot those both from the perception stat and have a chance of seeing them from the watchtower building, is that right?
A group of nomads is traveling through these lands. They are a mixed group.
What is your purpose?
We are merely passing by and mean you no harm.
God, yeah, this got me in trouble last time.
Yes, we always need food. We do not farm, and hunting is ever a risk. For some food you can spare, we can trade you some good wood
Yeah, I'd rather do that.
Wonderful. May the journey keep you safe.
String's not bad. I'm not trading away a random weapon again, though. Oof. It was not good last time. Did I accidentally unassign him earlier? I must have. Huh. So, there's parts of the map I've been to. I wish I could kind of like keep track of that a little bit better. I find that it's really hard to see in this game, depending on time of day and stuff like that.
Slavers are a sadly common sight in Thea these days. Your scouts have spotted such a group in the area. Rescuing the slaves may be both noble and practical, but beware. If you lose, the slavers will likely not let you go free.
Fair. Probably don't want them to show up in my town, though.
You approach the slavers and see they are a mixed group of different peoples.
I'll do social.
Orcs, humans, goblins, and even dwarves. They drag behind them a row of malnourished, worn-out slaves, including children, shackled and cruelly whipped by their captors. The slavers are well armed, but they have clearly seen some fighting not long ago, as they have bandages and look banged up.
Should be able to auto-resolve social then.
Posturing and clear confidence made these slavers very uneasy. They must have had quite a fight beforehand, as you realize they would not have been an easy prey still. Their leader speaks.
Fine. You can have half of our cargo and just leave us be.
You feel this is a final offer.
Sure.
The slavers cut off their long
Half your cargo is one child?
and leave with half of the cargo. You hear some slaves crying out, but most of them are too worn out to protest. You realize many of the rescued people will not survive the night, and yet you have given hope and a new start to some.
Sorry, other child. I tried.
It is said that the Mother Earth, Mokosh, is filled with anger as she sees her children wrought by the darkness and her precious earth polluted with filth. At times, her anger is unleashed upon Thea to remind you of her power.
Presumably these are the ongoing
The air
earthquakes.
goes stale and quiet.
Try to find cover. This is in my town, so I shouldn't rely on that to pass on its own, I feel like. There's only 4 cards. Get a lot of counter offense. Not a lot of great counter tactic. Okay, so maybe able to survive 1 hit. It's probably the way to go. And then just everybody else can beat this guy up, I think. Wish there was a play the rest of your cards button. This one should have worked on an auto resolve, I feel like. But... Get him, team. They're doing their best, dang it. Good
You
enough.
hear a
Took some
gruesome rumble
wounds.
from the depths of the heart of Thea itself, as if a demon was about to unearth itself. Then the earth shakes beneath you, and everything crumbles. You see that your village is not at the center of this rage, but you know that it is not
Oh, hey,
enough to keep
minerals.
you safe. But the earthquake revealed some minerals you can gather.
Thanks, Earthquake. But I lost gathering tools. I guess that could have been worse. The mostly upshot Earthquake, apparently. Let me look at crafting options now that I have this gold. Gold Signet, range damage and feint. This moonstone doesn't do anything with jewelry? That's kind of surprising. Surprised silver and gold tools are good. This should work auto-resolve this time, yeah. Pierogi! Delightful.
The whole land is shaken with tremors. Groans and thudding footsteps are heard throughout. Many people get bruised and thrown about, but you find some useful minerals.
God, so many tremors. Drop those off. My children refuse to level up right now. It's kind of driving me nuts. Like, how long have I had them here? 6 kids. Not too helpful right now. One day it will grow up. I'll believe it when I see it. At least they're not like a drain on your resources when they're not grown up or something. That would be the really mean thing to do. Let's try looking southeast. I don't think I've been down there too much. Creatures of Evil. A Baba Yaga. Really want to try to get my smith in my main hand. Nope. Ow. Need to go back to using Confused as soon as possible. I was experimenting with... Yeah, I think that's the wrong play. Probably counter a tactic here. He still has another card he's gonna pull out though, doesn't he? Yeah, that was a waste. I can't get to the Baba Yaga to stop her from hitting for 18 is the problem. Stop the Child Wraith, but that doesn't really matter. Should have had the smith get closer. Oh well. It's gonna hurt. Ow. That sucks. "12 leech, I don't like that. Oh man, Malona might die here. That's really bad. I think I'm close-ish to the herbalist, though. 7 wound. That's not as bad as I thought. Steel. I like dragon bones. 2 drop. 3 armor, 5 shielding, 3 attractiveness. Probably benefit from the gold signet. Guess I don't need to worry about the wound if they're not dying. Okay. Wait. Wounds will go away over time. Okay. Let me see if everyone has their ring slots filled up here. I don't think they do. Armor effectively contribute to their health, but shielding is like fake health that's doesn't contribute to whether or not they get wounded. It seems like an unusual case where shielding is better than armor, but maybe there are cases where it's not.
You stumble across some ruins of an old city, engulfed in mist and mystery. You search the buildings and discover a supplies store still intact.
Nuts and sandstone. Fantastic. Is kids ever gonna grow up? Or resolve, that's fine. It's a lot of enemies.
The skies darken, the air becomes thick and stuffy, and a chilling silence befalls the land. Then a hungry grumble tears across the land, and the sky is torn by a white flash of Perron's fury. A thundering storm
Zeus is
cuts through the
pissed.
skies, and your village is in its path. The storm rages for hours on end. Thunder strikes from the heavens, bringing destruction and fear. Trees fall before your eyes. Stones fly as the angry winds blast into every corner of the land. Fires break out where the angry hand of Perron hits hardest. As your people try to stay safe, some inevitably fall prey to small injuries.
Stay in cover and hope the wrath of Perron will
The
save you.
storm is nearly over, but the last few angry thrusts seem more vicious than ever. One of the people, terrified and confused by the chaos, runs out into the open and finds shelter under a tree.
Run after the person.
You run after the fool and try to take them back to a safer place, but a thunder strikes the tree they were hiding under. You both receive some burns, but you see the tree fall where your friend stood just seconds ago.
Tend to the wounded. Is anyone actually like actively dying as a result of that? No. They'll be fine. Small gathering, plus 1 dex. Bunch of health upgrades, cool. That we do like to see. I get a lot of fights for free over here. That's kind of cool. Sometimes the game doesn't want to let me move into enemy tiles. I don't know why. Bird meat. Sharp stone leg. Oh damn, that's actually pretty high damage. It's not a two-handed sword though, so I can't use it with a shield. I think that whole your warriors can wield a shield with their two-handed sword thing is Really strong. Like, I thought the game was a lot more about manipulating piercing and bludgeoning damage, but I think you just need to be able to not get hurt yourself is more important than anything else. Alright, now I can do two-handed swords. Does that cost 2? Awesome. Okay. Town. Buddies. Friendos. Gonna take a second to look at all the things I can make with this. Okay. So, catalyst, you said, doesn't affect the final product, just whether or not it's high quality, if it's able to be high quality. Try making mithril. Great Mithrilldus. That sounds fucking great. Yeah. 24 damage. 20 damage. 24 H shielding if I do double mithril. Granite. 7 shielding. Nine shielding. I think we want to do double mithril. So that's 9 per. Okay. So I can't quite make 4 of them, unfortunately. Oh no, I can't do 4, because I start with 5 already assigned. Yeah, let's do that. And then the catalyst doesn't matter at all unless if I have a smithy. Is that how that works? Used by 1% for each crafting skill level of the main craftsman down to a minimum of 1%. So I can try to significantly reduce the chance that they fail to make it. Okay. Out of curiosity. Okay, Svar's Grace is way worse. Which makes sense. Moonlight Sting. So I think I want to make some better crafting tools first. Out of gold, I guess. Oh, in this case... Oh, I see. Silver is generally better than gold for any of this. Okay. Trying to decide if I want to make a single mithril. Then that'll short me one of my swords, so I don't think I think the swords are more important. It's also a 4. Or to do 2 of these. Plenty of cooked greens. I can leave this unattended for a little bit. She helps too. That doesn't reduce the number of days it takes. That does, though. Okay. There it goes. Okay, so we've got 1 hammer is complete. Let's equip that, I guess. Start with... This dude is my best hammer guy. Sobibor. Wish I could access him from that screen. So you get the new fancy hammer. And then we pass down the other hammers. You can't wield it because it's too heavy. That's rude. And that ended up unassigning him from his task, it looks like. All right, they're making one more. I think I can get it to a 1% chance of failure, which is reasonable. Auto-resolve. Or skull spider nest. That might be a bad idea. We'll see. Alright, so now I want my next best crafter. Stogniev. Let's keep passing these down. Everybody else already has something. Okay, that's fine. So now instead we want to make a two-handed sword. We want it to be Mithril. What does this do? Oh shit. Mithril Moonstone is even better. No kidding. I think I can only afford to make 2 of those. What else can go in that slot? Not a lot that makes it better, it turns out. Yeah. 29 two-hander. So I can make 2 of those. And I shall do that. So 11 plus 9. Okay, so it said the minimum I can make it is a 1% chance to get it as a low-quality item, right? I make 2 of them, which should be fine. I'll start working on sending these guys back. Maybe I'll wait to take out the spider's nest until I have the super two-handed Mithrilldus. There's one. There's 2. Oh, and I already got another research point. That seems fast. I can start working on shields, I guess. Since I can equip them with those swords. Okay. So next up, let's do more of these, but without the moonstones this time. Just curious. Yeah, I can save myself a lot of mithril if I do mithril and silver as opposed to mithril. And the difference in DPS is it's substantial. But I could equip more of my characters. A higher damage item. It also confers dexterity of 1. I think I have enough good equipment that I can have overall stronger weapons here is probably the smarter way to go. And just to confirm, I can do exactly 3 of... Wait. Yeah, exactly 3 of them. I'll wait here until those finish crafting, I guess. Balada is idle. Go help with something else, Balada. How about veggies? Who else is idle? Oh, right, my visiting expedition, that's fine.
A figure of a woman crossing the village square was seen just before sundown, but no one knows who she was. She wore
Seems bad.
on her head, and her face was filled with sorrow. Your sleep this night is restless and uneasy, plagued by gruesome nightmares.
Figure out what this may be.
You know that the woman is likely a Tesknica, known as the Longing Demon.
We're about at time here. We got about another minute on the clock.
Melancholy into the hearts of those she touches. Although Tesknica usually roam cemeteries, but then again, what is Thea now if not a tomb of the Forsaken? You know there is a plant that may help ward you from her power.
Let me use magic to ward against her.
Create a smokescreen and infuse it with folk magic to call on the spirits of your ancestors and bring you the strength of the spirit to fight against the demon. You called upon your ancestral spirits, and they have answered.
Thanks, Pine
A
Knits.
circle of souls appears before you and stands fast to protect all your people from the sorrow.
So we
brought
keep
by
our
the
ghost in
Longing
town, I
Demon.
guess.
Tesknica wails. Tears run from her empty eyes, but she moves on to haunt someone else. Your wise ones feel the rewards of their forefathers upon them.
Glad we got that ghost to join our party. Thanks, friendly ghost. Let me finish crafting this last sword and then equip so I don't have to leave my future self with a bunch of questions about what the hell's going on. Do the better armor, too. Okay, so first things first, I guess I'll make a new expedition and, well, no, let's equip them first. Here we go. 29, 24. Did this one become bad quality? No! 1% chance? God damn it. I guess shit happens. That's annoying. I think Cyclava is my next strongest. You get the broken one. Sucks to be you, buddy. Four is probably as good as I'm gonna get here. I guess I can take the 2-drop. That one's interesting. Okay, future Marstead, here's what's going on. Important thing you've learned today is that characters that are marked as warriors can wield a 2-handed sword one-handed while wielding a shield. And it turns out that's extremely strong because 2-handed swords give you shielding, which is like bonus health, and the shield gives you shielding and armor. So it's greatly increased what kind of content you're able to handle. You just made really strong weapons for most of your main characters. The stuff you need to make those is mithril and maybe silver. And you have that as an option now in the crafting menu. You can make 2-handed swords. I would recommend only making 2-handed swords for your warriors. You've just recently unlocked the ability to make shields and armors. And your crafters are not assigned to do anything at the moment, so I would recommend assigning them to start working on making medium armors and shields so you can have good ones. Materials that you care about, if you can get dragon bones and rubies, you can make a really interesting ring that gives leech to the characters that have it equipped, which will help them survive for longer. And I think the ruby gives you leech and other encounters. So I think it's cheaper than just trying to do double dragon bones from what you've seen. There's a handful of other jewelry things you can make, but I think that's the most interesting one. Like I said, mithril and silver for swords. You can maybe improve the crafting tools a little bit for your crafters. But other than that, good luck. We're all counting on you.